Hi YouTube. Have you ever wondered about the Pottery Barn reclining sofas? Well, I've had this one for almost a year now, and I'm going to tell you everything that I like about it and what I don't like. So let's get at it. Okay, so my sofa is the Cameron roll arm upholstered two-piece power reclining sofa. And I got the polyester wrapped cushions, and the fabric is the Performance Everyday Velvet in Camel. So this is what it looks like in the front. The feet, the side, and kind of what it looks like in back here. Okay, so first let's talk about the style. I wanted to get a recliner, but I didn't want it to look like one of those big marshmallow couches. And I didn't want it to just be so bulky and kind of outdated. And I thought that the style of this Cameron recliner was just had clean lines and it looked traditional with the roll arm. And I liked the legs, the color of the espresso, I think it is, feet on it. And I just thought, that it would look good in my condo. Now the footprint, these seats are actually pretty big seats, and I could only fit 2 of them in here. If I would have gotten the third seat to make it look more like a couch and not a love seat, it would have been too big. So I just got the 2 seats. And if I would have gotten the console that goes in the middle here, and it has like drink holders and whatnot. I didn't want that look. I didn't want it to look like a media room. I wanted it to look more like a traditional sofa, but I really wanted a comfy recliner. So I thought the style of this would make it look more like a sofa and not a recliner. And the footprint works for my condo. It's, I think, the smallest of the reclining sofas that Pottery Barn makes. And I needed that because I have a small wall here and I'm a small person. So I thought that this one would be the ticket. I do love the material. This material is the velvet, Performance Velvet in the camel. It is such a beautiful color. I think it blends well with other neutrals. I think, it'll look good with, different paint colors. So the color is gorgeous and the feel of it feels really nice. And it's wearing really nice. It doesn't really show that much dirt. I didn't want to get a white material because, kind of are using your couch a lot. And so far, I think it looks really clean still. So, and I did do a performance test on the material. I had a sample and I put ketchup and coffee grounds and dirt, and I was able to get the material clean. So the material is A+. Another thing I like is that I think this is a very sturdy sofa. The arms are very plush and cushiony. I'm glad I got the roll arm. But I think it's pretty sturdy. And there is like steel inside because there needs to be the steel to move it back and forth. The cushions are very firm where you sit. But the back of it here is not very firm. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that now as we talk about the comfort of this sofa. Okay, as far as comfort, I did get the polyester wrapped cushions. I did not get the down wrapped because I wanted a more firm seat. And so this seat now is just beginning. So I ordered this in December and I got it in March. And so I've had it for about 9 months now. It is just beginning to get comfortable on the seat part. Okay. Now the back does not feel as firm. In fact, I think that it is really lacking in lumbar support. I mean, look at this. And then there's like, you can feel the steel metal down here at the bottom of the seat. So you have to use a lumbar cushion. And then when you do use that lumbar cushion, it pushes you so far forward that you don't get the leg support when you're reclining very well. It just feels off. Okay, but if you don't have the lumbar pillow, you're like this, and your lower back just starts to hurt. So that's why those marshmallow couches are built that way, because you get that nice hump right there that you really need when you're going to be reclining. And so that's the sacrifice. You're sacrificing comfort for style. There's no way around it. Another thing, I just got to look at my notes here, is there's no head support either then. Okay, so if I recline, I'm going to put it up here. Give me a couple seconds. So let's say I'm here and I'm watching TV, which is right there. Do you see how my head is so far back? Now, it'd be fine if my TV were up on the ceiling, but it's not. So what you end up doing is this. So my neck is cranked forward. I have no lumbar support. I forgot to show you guys that you can move the headrest forward by pushing the button here. It does move it forward, but unfortunately it doesn't tilt the head forward to give you head support when you're watching TV. It just pushes your back forward. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll move it again. I'll move it back. So that's how much you get for the head support. It really just pushes your back forward. So that's not very helpful for head support. Now if I put the pillow behind me, so I have the lumbar support, now my ankles and feet are hanging off of the edge. And I'm 5'2". So if you're a tall person, this is not the reclining sofa for you. If you're 5 feet, maybe. Not many people are that short. I'm close, but I am not comfortable. And I also don't like that there's not support right here when you pull it up. It's just this little thing here that comes down low. So you get support on your lower calves. Your ankles are not supported. They're hanging off, and so are your feet. And I don't know if that's what most recliners do, but I feel like the sizing is off. And if you were to sit on this without your lumbar support like that, already my muscles are working so hard to keep me adjusted. And then my head's forward. So you cannot sit on this long in this position comfortably. And most of the time, I don't recline. Most of the time, I get my ottoman and I have my lumbar pillow and I'm with my feet up like this. And then my upper back isn't supported, and neither is my head because my lumbar pillow is kind of pushing me forward. So for paying the amount of money that I did to get a comfortable recliner, I didn't get the comfortable recliner. I spent a lot of money on style and looks, and I can't really use the recliner at all with this. And you can't return it. because it's custom and it's exported. So they make it overseas and then they ship it to you, and you can't return it unless you got one that was not in a custom fabric that they already have in stock. Then you could. And if I were ever to buy a couch or a sofa from Pottery Barn again, or a chair, I would never custom special order. I would only buy what they have in stock so that I could return it. Because I did sit on one of these in the store, but it wasn't a recliner. It was a chair. It was the Cameron chair. And I thought, oh, it's so comfortable. And so I made the foolish mistake of assuming that the recliner would be as comfortable, and it's just not. So there are things that I like about it, you know, just the looks of it, but you know, the whole point was to buy a recliner, and it's not a great one. So I could talk about price with you and then my final thoughts. Okay, so I paid $2,298, but then with shipping and processing, that was $279, and then tax was $128.85. So the total cost was $2,705.85 for these two pieces. And I am not comfortable after 9 months. So was it worth it? No, because you can get pretty looking sofas for that amount, and if you're not able to recline, what's the point? That's why, you know, those big marshmallow reclining sofas with the headrest and the lumbar support, you got to choose. It's hard to get everything you want, you know, that looks nice and streamlined. Yeah, it's hard to find that. If you found that, let me know, leave a comment. I'd love to know if there's a beautiful looking, streamlined, sophisticated reclining sofa out there. All right, YouTube, I hope this helps you in your quest. I know when I was looking, there wasn't anything out there that I could find on a review on the reclining sofas from Pottery Barn. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. Thanks for watching.